And we're back, and finally, the entire group is here. Say hi!
As ghosts. You thought life sucked. Wait till you see the afterlife.
Why do we want the whole group here again?
Yeah, don't be mean like that, Brian. God.
Besides, I've been here the whole time.
I realized that I never blew up those walls. And now
yeah, Brian, stop being. Yeah, Brian, stop being such a link to the ass.
I can't believe you worked that in.
I can't. This is Austin we're talking about. Of course you worked that in.
Oh yeah, we forgot to explain to Chris why Austin is pretending to be him.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine that had
earlier in this playthrough, Austin wanted your opinion. You weren't here.
Yeah.
So he created an alter ego of you.
Oh.
Where you
Where
you agreed with everything I said, and Brian was the biggest shithole to you.
Oh.
I was not.
Okay.
Just like, okay.
God damn it, Chris! Why are you so ambivalent to everything?
Listen to this palace music sped up.
I like it.
Wow. You see, I like the other music, but this one is kind of scaring me a little bit.
It's very intimidating. Listen to those trills.
No, you know what's intimidating? Playing it at half speed.
This didn't work.
You just said, like,
I was upset.
You're just like, fuck it. And they were like, no.
I remember for one of my personal channel commentaries, I sped up the music. I sped up the footage and made the music sound weird. So I put the pitch down and then made it sound regular.
Ariel,
yeah,
why are
you
we
can
fast
do
forwarding?
that if you do it right.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that sounds actually really nice. So I just left it like that.
So I had this problem because remember I had to manually speed up the audio to match the video. Audacity and my video editor have different percentages for speed. So to double the video, I had to set it to 200%, but to double the audio, I had to go change speed 100%. And I didn't realize that at first. So when I was originally trying to edit it, I was doing it 4 times, I believe. And I was like, God damn, this does not sound right. It's not syncing up at all. And then I figured it out. I was like, oh, I see.
Yeah.
Now it totally makes sense.
And now I'm finally breaking this wall. An episode later.
Fairies.
Yeah, I need these fairies badly. Get in
Trust
my
me,
bottle.
Ariel, we know.
I need them! You have no idea until you see the final death counts.
I think this is the first dungeon we've seen you put into 2 parts.
Yeah, because it was like 40 minutes of dungeon footage.
Yeah.
There's one more dungeon that gets split in half.
Well, I'm gonna go.
Look at all those unexplodable walls.
Wait, all those walls are decoys?
Yep.
Motherfucker.
Yep. Generally, if there's like 7 cracks in a row like that, it's not real.
That is... game devs? Really, bros? I thought we were friends, man. I give you money.
They usually do what they can to make it fairly obvious when it's, you know, like when it's a real hole in the wall and when it's not.
Yo, some of those like those 2 cracks I just went back for, those look exactly like the fake cracks.
Yeah. So there you go.
Success.
There's also later in, I don't remember what it's called, the Dark Lost Woods Temple.
Skullwood.
There's a bunch of shit that you can cut on the walls with your sword, but then there's nothing ever there. So I literally go through the entire temple, cutting every single one of them for no reason.
Good job.
It's not no reason. It's for the sake of curiosity.
And then you're not rewarded for it. So
I
the game
was
is basically
promised
telling you,
rewards.
fuck you! You don't get to be curious!
Well, you weren't really promised, you just assumed.
I assumed
Well, I mean,
that
if
it
it's
was
an
there, there was a
option-
reason.
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah,
remember
to
when
make
you
you waste your
assume.
time.
Brian, remember when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me.
And when you speculate, you make a speck out of you and some guy who has nothing to do with me.
Okay.
Between you and a latte. Why do you keep missing
mean, but
the
like-
first rupee?
I don't. The
You
way
have
that you have to
glitches.
pick them up is very strange. So I don't really understand it.
Link has to
I mean,
pick
but
them up with
going
his
back
ass
to
cheeks.
the assumption thing, like, if this is a video game, which means somebody programmed every nuance
Well, Brian, there can
of this
it can always be
experience.
an oversight.
Yes.
Well, I mean, so did they plan to have something there and just didn't fall through?
I don't know, or maybe they just put something in to trick people, and then people who...
Wait, are we still talking about the nothing being there?
Yeah.
I guess.
We're talking about, like, having mechanics that don't pan out.
Well, like, I think, like, it's fine.
Look at all those fake exploding
I know, it's
walls.
really not that big a deal.
But that's a real
Like-
I mean, it's more
exploding
for, like, a first playthrough thing that kind of annoys me. Like, after, you know, when you play the game more than once and you know what's going on, it's not too much of an annoyance, because, like, okay, I'm not gonna... But, like, the first time, like, you see a wall with, like, 9,000 cracks in
That's
it,
amazing.
you gotta check!
That
Like,
was
look at these fake
amazing.
walls right there.
Like, Brian, did you catch what just happened?
Wait, what?
She blew a hole in the floor, and it made the dingy dingy sound, like she had uncovered a secret. So she went over to fall down to see what was down there, and nothing.
And
Nothing.
she got hurt.
It
lost-
does that
she
for
lost a
every
heart.
single hole in the floor you blow up.
Yeah, see,
Yeah,
that shit,
single
why?
You did something right, but clearly you didn't. It didn't matter. That's
I like
Like-
how, like,
Those holes in the floor are trolls.
Like,
I like-
see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, in subsequent playthroughs, yeah, okay, you know that's an issue, but the first time, it's just like, it's irritating. Like, oh,
I
good.
like how
glad to see I
almost
wasted my
everything-
fucking time.
I like how almost everything you guys have been saying is negative about this playthrough, and I'm the only one here who doesn't like Zelda.
I like Zelda, but not... Like I said, I like this one, but it's definitely not in my top 5.
It is for me.
I don't really like Zelda. I'm kind of apathetic
Woo,
to
high
it.
five!
Good luck with that
I just clapped.
No, you high-fived across cyberspace. Don't lie.
one. No, you high-fived the alter ego.
But yeah, I like the idea. I like the characters, but I've never really played a Zelda. I've actually never played a Zelda game. I just realized
You like
that.
the characters?
Well, like, yes.
They have, like, no character.
Well, I like
You can
the way
like
I like the way
character
Zelda
design.
looks. Okay, jeez.
Oh, Chris, oh my.
Oh my god.
Okay, no, but seriously. Like, I don't play League of Legends, but I respect that their character designs are pretty fucking cool.
Well, I do too. It's just...
Oh, that's right. You have to fight those guys by, like, lining up and then turning without moving.
Well,
'Cause
Ariel,
they'll
I
turn
respect...
if you move.
Ariel, I respect cool character designs too, but Link is just a Keebler elf.
Yo, man!
Oh yeah, I don't think Link's anything special.
Yo, man!
Look at him! He's a pink-haired Keebler elf!
You know, my Link right next to me, my Link plushie, does not appreciate you talking shit.
I don't even talk.
He's gonna come for you. When he does, oh man.
Plus,
Oh,
like,
I got it.
Dream Time plushie,
No,
though,
but
so
you,
maybe he doesn't
you guys
care.
know who I will admit has a cool character design? Ganondorf.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but not Wind Waker Ganon, though.
Wind Waker
Um,
Ganon is like the best Ganon, though.
I know.
Wind
He
Waker
gets,
Ganon
He
is
looks
like
kind
the
of ill
worst
proportioned though.
he gets his
Are
head
you
cut off. That
good?
automatically makes him the best.
He doesn't get his head
He doesn't
cut
get his
off.
head cut off. He just gets stabbed in the
Impaled.
forehead, which is pretty much just as bad.
Actually, I think I may have played one Zelda game, but it was like for an hour, and then I got bored.
That sounds about right.
It was it was a DS one, I think, about like there was like this pirate.
Definitely
Who,
sounds about right.
it was this like
Oh,
pirate
Phantom
one.
Hourglass.
It's
Oh,
fantastic.
that's
Yeah,
not a good one to start.
Yeah.
with.
Well, cause like I was confused. I was like, is this?
argue-
I will argue
was like-
up and down that Phantom Hourglass is possibly the worst Zelda.
Okay, but Lineback.
Okay, the worst Zelda that doesn't include the CDI atrocities.
Well,
The
'cause
CDI games are the best Zelda games. I don't know what you're fucking talking about.
I was really confused with Phantom Hourglass because I was like, is this pirate Zelda? I don't understand what's going on. So, yep.
Like, that's because it was a sequel to Wind Waker. And if you haven't played that game, you probably won't get most of the stuff. If you want to start with Zelda, I would actually suggest A Link Between Worlds or Wind Waker. Those are
You
I
don't
would not
start
next.
with a sequel.
Or Twilight Princess.
Brian.
You can totally start with a
Or-
sequel.
Well, I mean, in terms of a
Ocarina
game, from a gameplay perspective.
Yeah, guys,
From
don't start with a
gameplay
sequel.
perspective, I would suggest Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, or Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, guys, don't start with a sequel. SA2 sucks.
God damn.
That wasn't even a joke. SA2
we'll-
sucks.
We will
come on,
talk
that's
about
like
that game when we
amazing.
get to that game.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like I said to Brian earlier in this playthrough, if you play A Link Between Worlds and you haven't played A Link to the Past, you are missing out on a big component of the game.
But it's still
you mean
fucking fun.
nostalgia.
It's
Yes. You mean
really
You
very
mean
fun.
nostalgia whoring.
Like I didn't play Link to the Past, and I enjoyed A Link Between Worlds
No,
immensely.
it's a great game without the background, but when you are like, wow, I walked this place before when I was a youngin', and now it's all 3D and shit, and it's so cool, and I remember where everything is.
Well,
Okay, I
yeah,
kinda
I mean,
understand
but,
that
but
feeling,
Chris
but-
wouldn't have that nostalgia factor anyway, because
Yeah.
he's not a youngin'
Well, no,
anymore.
I'm saying
so
don't play A Link Between Worlds if you haven't done A Link to the Past first.
I mean,
Well,
Like,
I've,
you
won't
I've already
have
that-
I've already seen a full playthrough of this, so
Ariel, it's a direct sequel that takes place 100 years later.
Okay, but still. Just like Phantom Hourglass is a direct sequel to Wind Waker.
But that one
Yeah, it's a
actually
Phantom
is a
Hourglass.
direct sequel.
Ariel, it's about as much of a direct sequel as Mega Man Legends is to Mega Man ZX. And for anyone who hasn't played either of those, the entire world gets reset in between games.
So basically, they just hit the giant fuck you button.
Yeah, well, everyone died.
So basically, they just hit the giant fuck you button.
Pretty
I
much,
mean,
like no joke, that is actually literally what happens.
yeah. I mean, basically what I'm saying is, like, if you want to get into what Zelda is all about,
You play the first
just
one.
have a really fun experience, then I would suggest Link Between Worlds or Wind Waker. Well, most of Wind Waker. Toward the end game is kind of not all that great anymore, but at the beginning it's nice.
I definitely would recommend Wind Waker HD though.
I
Yes,
recommend
God,
Wand
yes.
of Gamelon.
Yo, do you guys realize Wind Waker is one of my least favorite, and I still recommend it?
I mean,
I
good
don't.
for you.
And Brian is the one who's played literally 2 games, and he is suggesting the 2 that he's played.
Because I fucking love them!
Because the Zelda series is fucking amazing. That's why.
I mean,
Higher
just from
tuning.
a starting point, I'm not sure any. I still have experience with the other Zelda games. Like, I know about them. I haven't played them, so I can't, like, give too much of a really solid opinion on all of
I
them.
haven't
But just
played
from
them,
what
but
I've seen.
But I've watched other people play them, therefore I'm an expert.
Like I said,
No, I'm not an
giving
expert.
the recommendation of someone who has played all the ones I'm suggesting. And I've
But-
played all but, like, 3 Zelda games.
I'm just talking about, like, easing into the Zelda universe.
Yeah,
Like,
Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess. Maybe Skyward Sword if you want to struggle with the Wii motion controls.
But like,
I have a
we're
friend
talking
that
about
loves Skyward Sword. You need to use arrows. Oh no, you don't.
something I don't like about the Zelda series is that I feel like Link just like changes ages throughout every game. Like not like aging.
That's
He
because
just
it's
like
not the same Link.
That's because it's not the same Link.
yeah,
yeah.
and that's what bothers me.
Well,
That-
but it's not the same Link or Zelda, actually, in any of the
He
games.
knows.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's why it's like gross.
It's
Well, I don't know. I just don't. I
Get the
don't like to
shit
have
from me.
keeping track of like all these different versions of different characters.
Well, that's
You
because
can
nothing
keep them
really
don't.
matters.
Like, I kept them completely separate as a kid.
Like
You don't
for the
have to
most
try to
part,
connect them.
the only time you will ever have to connect characters is if it is a direct
Yes,
sequel, in which
Ocarina
case
and
you'll know it's the same characters.
The only time it really matters is between Ocarina and Twilight.
And Wind
Princess.
Waker and Wind Waker
Majora's
and
Mask. Because Ocarina and Majora's Mask is
And-
actually the same Link.
Wind Waker. What? Well, yeah,
And,
but I
and
don't
if I'm
think
not
you need
mistaken-
Ocarina of Time to play Majora's Mask.
and if I'm not mistaken, you don't need Ocarina of Time to play Twilight Princess either.
Yeah, but I'm saying
I
I'm probably
personally
not gonna
feel
get
that
into
they
that.
connected
It's not a
better to
single-
Wind Waker.
There's not a single
Wait, what? What were you saying, Wolf?
Zelda game. Okay. First off, there's not a single Zelda game that doesn't stand alone just fine, even the sequels. But what I was saying was that not only is Ocarina and Majora Link the same Link, but Zelda 1 and Zelda 2 Link are the same Link, and Wind Waker and Phantom Hourglass are the same Link.
Oh yeah, Zelda 2. That is the best Zelda game.
I don't know. It has to beat
I'm not
the
even
CDI
joking.
games. What
not even
fucking
joking.
gems they were.
Brian, Zelda 2 is basically the CDI games, but with better control.
Yeah. I've tried, like,
Actually,
I've tried.
no. Yeah,
I've tried so
Anyway,
hard to play Zelda
I don't know
2.
why you guys. I don't know why you guys are giving the CDI games such shit. I think the Forgotten timeline is the best timeline.
But I'm probably
Yeah.
never gonna get into Zelda games because I am never gonna buy a Wii U. So
Well, I mean, most
I
of them
mean,
aren't on
literally
Wii U.
every Zelda game is not on Wii U.
I know, man.
Well,
Come on.
well, like the HD
Except
remakes and
Wind
stuff.
Waker
But
HD.
still,
And there's
Oh,
one
man.
HD remake, and it's Wind Waker.
Yeah, there's
I know,
literally
and-
one. There's literally one game on the Wii U for the entire
Oh,
Zelda
well.
series.
And it's a remake.
yeah.
It's a remake. Yep.
Remake of the
Remake.
GameCube game.
Although the HD remake of Wind Waker is pretty much a definitive
Yeah,
version.
it's so
because
very
it cuts
worth it.
out all of the, well, not all of it, but a lot of the
A lot
tedious
of the
crap
bullshit,
that the
yeah.
original had.
The Swift Sail is single-handedly the reason that game is better.
Yeah. That, and I think they made the Triforce hunting a lot better too.
A lot better, yeah.
know,
You don't have to pay
to
like
get back to what we-
3,600
Let's
some
find
odd
out
more
This
games
boss-
just to get on the track.
This boss we're fighting represents everything I love about Super Nintendo animation. The body itself barely moves, and the tail moves like it's on a 3D screen.
Yep.
It does. It's
Tail
weird.
in Mode 7.
Yeah, I never
Mode
did mention I
7
am
fucking
emulating the NES version,
Death.
which is slightly different from the Game Boy version.
Wait a minute, this is an NES game? Holy shit.
SNES.
No, there is a Game Boy version. In all
I know
fairness,
this.
and the Game Boy
Game
version
Boy.
is different.
It's the GBA.
Game Boy Advanced, isn't it? Or do you mean this boss?
I use Game Boy as a blanket term for everything before the DS.
Okay. But the
well, you
Advanced
probably
isn't the
shouldn't.
same as the Color and Original and Pocket and Mini and Micro and...
Exactly.
And light.
Neo Geo.
And
Like
So-
the advanced
SP.
and SP are the only ones worth setting apart, and even then you group those two together. Ariel, you are dying a lot.
Yes.
Okay, so what game is this other one linked to?
This
So,
game
like,
is
what-
linked to Between Worlds.
A Link Between Worlds.
Okay.
It's on the
The
3DS.
new one on 3DS.
Okay.
And it's fantastic. I don't know, it might not be your cup of tea though. Like, I mean, I liked it. And, like, again, the reason I recommended those two games was because they introduced me into the Zelda universe, basically.
Personally, I really
so-
do think that Wind Waker HD is literally the best place to start at this point.
I mean, I feel like that's the most accessible for
Granted,
just a
that
old
also
Zelda
requires that you have a Wii U, so you could play the original.
Yeah.
It's not as
It
good
really
as the
depends,
HD
like, what
remix,
you-
but
you
it's
like.
just
If you like
it's still
everything
great.
that
You
look
might-
pretty,
You might
if
be
you
the
like the
kind of
characters that look pretty.
Oh, we're saving maidens? I didn't even realize. Story happened, and at one point,
Suggestion?
I completely
Okay.
missed it.
Okay, Chris. If you want the game
Yeah?
to look pretty, and actually the
Uh-huh.
characters to look interesting, the character designs from Smash Bros, do Twilight
Mhm.
Princess.
I'm
Don't
looking
do
up
Twilight
Twilight
Princess.
Princess at the moment.
if
Twilight
you
Princess
haven't
is
played,
amazing.
I don't. Twilight Princess doesn't have enough dungeons. It's,
Wait,
it's
wait,
a
wait,
lot
wait,
of
wait.
Yeah, but
let
if
me-
that's
it's a
your
lot of
first
boring
one, then
Let
that
me-
might not be a complaint.
hold on. Hold on. Forest Temple, Goron Mount.
yeah,
Death
but-
Mountain, the Goron
but-
Mine.
Wolf,
hold on.
there's a lot
The-
of overworld you have to go through
the
to get
underwater temple, the
And that's it.
what was
And-
that?
Wolf, I'm not saying that there's not a lot of temples. I'm saying there's too much overworld.
You said
in
there
between.
wasn't enough dungeons. That's exactly
That's
what
not
you.
what I meant. There's not enough dungeons in conjunction with everything else, is what I meant.
I mean,
We're gonna be
again,
discussing this
if
for
you
a
want
while.
an introduction,
But the part's over.
Yeah, the part's
disagree
over.
with that, but I
honestly-
see your point.
I didn't mind it. I wasn't a fan of Ilia, and I hate Midna, and I'm in the minority for that, but I liked Twilight
Oh, yeah.
Princess. Okay, we should
She
probably
liked
stop.
Twilight Princess. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Uh,
Good night.